Hi guys, this is Eminem from Let's Go Fishing. I've just made a video and I ballsed it up, so I'm going to do another one. Anyway, if you haven't seen me before, my name's Eminem. Let's Go Fishing. I talk about all topics about fishing. Talk a load of crap as well. Sometimes some decent stuff, and I talk about things that have happened and whatever. Excuse me. So I just had a can of Pepsi. What I'm going to talk about today is, what are your thoughts on scrapping the closed season on rivers? Me personally, I think, why should we? Because the lakes and the canals, you can fish all year round now. I've only just found that out while watching the telly. For 30 years, the last 20 years, you haven't had to go. You could go on the canals for the last 20 years without being in closed season. There's no closed season on it, and on the lakes as well. 20 years again, or probably 30 years at private venues or whatever. There's no closed season, right? So, me personally, I don't think we should have a closed season on the rivers, because the way the rivers are at the moment. Because every year we know the rivers get flooded. Every year it's up to a month or 2 months that you can't fish the rivers. So that means we, lake or river fishermen who want to go on the river, can't fish them because of what? Well, flooded mainly. And then there's a lot of other aspects in with it as well. You got your little shops who supply your bait and that near your rivers. You know what I mean? That don't get flooded. I mean, near your rivers, so they will lose money because you'd have 3 months off from not buying bait from their shops for the rivers, which is a shame. And also other bits of tattle that will work out up to a couple of £100 a time. I mean, like, you go on a lake. I mean, I know there's one place where I go fishing in Evesham. They've got their own little shop there. First thing they do, they open up when there's a contest on. They've got half a dozen lakes on there. They must make about 300 to 400 quid in that one day. They might not make that, they might make 150 quid in one day just for the stuff. But don't forget, they've got to buy tackle in to sell for the blokes who might need something. So they're making money, yeah, all year round. Right, now when you got a place near the river, a shop near the river, say like in Tewkesbury. I know there's a tattle shop in Tewkesbury and Evesham town. When you go to, say you want to fish on the river in Evesham town, and you can't because it's closed season, they're losing income. And I feel sorry for them because that is their bread and butter. They, is okay. They buy stuff in so they can sell to Joe Public. Okay, they make a little bit of profit on them. That's the way it goes. Everybody knows that. But then again, at the same time, they lose out, and they could close down. And if they close down, that's one tattle shop gone. So when you do go to these rivers, oh, I'll get to that shop and get some bait. It's not there anymore. So that's another reason why I think we should not have a closed season anymore, to keep these little businesses going. All these little cafes next to a river. Because these little cafes, somebody may have a little cafe, and right next to it they may have a little store where they've got little bits of fishing equipment. You know, people buy that stuff, so that keeps that cafe going, and people can go there, get a cup of tea and have tea and biscuits and whatever. I don't care, but it's keeping everything going. You know, like bait, ground bait, you name it. But I don't think we should have a closed season. I mean, because the reason why, as I was saying earlier on the other video that I buzzed up, when you go sea fishing, that's all year round. Believe it or not, yeah. Okay, you don't have to have a licence to do sea fishing. I did hear a couple of years ago. I said, oh, we're going to licence sea fishing. Okay. How are you going to manage it? How much is it going to cost you to have bailiffs go out there? Because nobody's going to do it for free, are they? No, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Bailiffs will turn around, well, I'm not doing it. Because you don't just get people who just fish off a pier or off the beach. You have people who come onto the rocks. You're going to get bailiffs jumping down onto rocks. Where's your licence? Bloke's going to tell you to fuck off straight away. I'm fishing on the rocks, mate. You know what I mean? So, you know, what bailiff you're going to get? You're going to get a bailiff abseiling there. Can I have your licence, please? They're going to tell you to fuck off straight away. And it's one of the most stupidest, it was one of the most stupidest ideas I've ever heard, to be honest. Because a lot of people would just turn in and say, well, same to court. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people think sea fishermen are arrogant. No, they're not. Most nicest blokes you could meet. Because believe it or not, I am one of them sea fishermen. And I do coarse fishing as well. I do fly fishing. I do carp fishing. I do pike fishing. I do river fishing. I do it all. And I don't think I'm arrogant. I think I'm rather friendly with everybody. Anybody who comes up to me and wants to know anything, I will help them out if I can. Especially with sea fishing, you will get your odd person who will just, with a rod and just wang the lay down and I go, oh, well, can I just, excuse me, can I just inform you you're doing that wrong for your own safety and for everybody else's safety around you. You know, I did see a kid once wrap his on a fixed ball rail as he's casted, the loop has gone round his finger. Yeah. Like a bit of cotton gone round. You get a reel of cotton and put it around your finger and then just hold the one end tight and then just snag it like that quickly. You'll find out the pain. But this kid, in one respect, it was lucky he didn't have a leader line on, because he would have lost the end of his finger. I watched this kid pick his rod up, and he's got this, I think it was a 4-inch sled on, and he had 10-pound line, main line all the way through. He had a 4-inch sled, and he's gone whack, and as the lid's gone out, he's gone ah, and it snapped. It cut into his finger, and I mean, it cut into his finger bad. So then he was only a young kid, I think he was only about 15, 16, never done any proper sea fishing. And I said, you all right, son? And his hand's pissing of blood, and I've looked, and I said, may I have a look? And he went, So I've gone up and I've had to cut the line from where it left the rod, because it was still through the end of his rod and to his reel. So I've cut by the end of his reel and the side of his line. Then I undone it for him, and his hand was pissing of blood. Anyway, I asked him to hold his hand up like that. I tourniqueted his wrist for a bit to stop the flow, and of course, being a first aider, I done the best I could to clean his finger up. Wrapped it up. I said, you need to go to the hospital. and he did. A couple of days later, I was fishing on the seawall, and this kid had come up to me, and he's brought me a 6-pack. He's going, yeah, mate. I said, what's that for? He said, for saving my finger. I said, what you mean? He said, well, I told the bloke that some fisherman had done first aid on me on the seawall. I told him what I'd done, and he said, well, you're lucky you done what he done, because you would have lost the end of the tip of your finger. And I explained to him, I said, it's a good job he didn't have leader line on. He said, why? I said, because it would have touched your finger, mate. Simple as. It would have took the tip of your finger straight. I caught it just round here, round the crease. I said, it would have took it down to the bone, if you know what I mean. But if it would have shredded, it would have just lifted his fucking bone. But anyway, that is one thing I've done. As I said, I like to help anybody out. I've seen people fall in the river. I can't swim. I've tied rope to me and I've jumped in, got them, pulled them out. I'm not a hero, I'm just helping people. It's the way to be, guys. Anyway, let's go back to the fishing. Me personally, I don't think we should have to have a closed season anymore on the rivers. I mean, we pay enough for our licence fee. I do believe in paying for a rod licence. Don't get me wrong, I do believe in paying for that. But at the same time, why should we have a closed season? And to be honest, I don't see many on the Avon in Evesham. You don't see much fish anymore. You don't see no big carp. You don't see no big pike. It's very rare you see a big tench. Very rare you see a big perch. Very rare you see a barbel. Very rare you see anything, really. Not even, you don't see very many minnow anymore. But what I'm going to attempt to do this year, believe it or not, is as soon as the closed season's finished, I'm going to go down and I'm going to get a net full of little minnow. But they look like minnow. I'm going to see what type of fish they are. I'm going to bring them home and put them in a tank and see what fish they are when they grow. So I'm thinking about doing fish breeding and restocking the rivers slowly. That's me. I would like to restock the rivers with little bits of fish back in there. And I don't mean little things like this. I mean things like this size. You know, a good £1.5 size. But there you go, that's me. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think of the idea of scrapping the closed season. Tell me your thoughts on it. Anyway, my name's Eminem. Give us a like, subscribe. It's free to subscribe. And yeah. By the way, I'm retired now, and I've not long come out of hospital. I had a stroke 3 days after my birthday, which was January the 21st. Yeah. So I'm a retired old man now. Oh, where's my daughter? Hello, sweetheart. Come and say hello. I'm on YouTube. I'm doing YouTube.
That's all right.
Coming in, so give me mints.
Do you want one of my mints?
They'll do yours, not mine.
Yeah, mine.
Where's mine? Oh, my wife's going to. So
No, I've got your mints.
See, my daughter pinches. Open them for us, bud. My daughter pinches my mints. I'm an old man. I'm an old fart. I like my mints. I like the humbuggy ones now, bit.
I do a whole bag of humbugs.
I know, what did you get them in? Anyway, guys, I'm signing off now. Anyway, leave me your thoughts on, banning closed season. That we should be able to fish the rivers all year round. leave a like, leave a message, subscribe if you like, guys. Catch you later. Bye.